So hello, it's Nikki from Natty Nikki, and I'm doing a cheeky midweek YouTube video because I'm off work today. I'm also doing YouTubing because the weather is so atrocious outside behind my camera right now that I can't do any vlog photos because it's piddling down with rain. Possibly a bit of snow in maybe an hour or so, who knows, we're on snow watch currently here. So instead I thought I'd do a little talky video today talking about the January blues. Now January, it's quite a tough month, isn't it, really? I'm okay. I've been up and down, through January. I think it's a really hard month for a lot of us to get through. It can be a long month financially, if like me, you've been paid early before Christmas. It can be quite a dark and dreary month. I mean, like this afternoon, the weather's blooming awful. It's so grey and horrible outside. It was sunny earlier on, but it's hard to feel upbeat, I think, when the weather's grey and dull and wet and cold, and it was really cold rain earlier. So I was going to talk today really about January, trying to survive January and all the things that happen in this month and the way that we feel. It's one of those difficult months. We're in the post-Christmas come down. We've all sort of had to get back into the routine of work, and I think in the run-up to Christmas I have so much occupying my mind with Christmas presents and work's really busy, and all of a sudden it's like poof, it's over. That day that you've all prepared for has come and gone. In a blink of an eye, Christmas is over and we're into a new year. And then, of course, we start with the New Year's resolutions, which I don't make. I'm not a fan. And, of course, the new year, new me. No, not a fan of that either. My attitude is, at 11:59 in 2016, well, not 11:59, 11:59 p.m, I should say, in 2016, I was me. And at 12 a.m. in 2017, I'm still me. I haven't changed. I'm not going to suddenly miraculously change because it's a new year. I'm still the same old me, and I will continue to be the same old me. But January is hard because it's the month where we get really bombarded with diet talk. Now, diet culture is all around us, whether we like it or whether we don't. And I don't personally, but it's quite hard to escape. But in January, it seems to be that month where society and media decides that it's time for renewal and everybody's going to go off to the gym and lose weight and I was watching YouTube the other day and an advert came on for a diet company. I was listening to the radio the other day and constantly heard adverts for the same diet company to the point where I ended up swearing at the radio. And it's really hard through January to try and blot it out and not listen to it. Now, I should point out that I'm very much of a you do you and I'll do me attitude. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do with their bodies, because it's none of my business what you do with your body, in the same way it's none of anybody else's business what I choose to do with mine. But I'm not a fan of diets or diet talk or diet culture. I've been surrounded by it my whole life, and since my mid-20s I have yo-yo, well, I don't do it anymore, but I did yo-yo diet for so many years. It wasn't until I was 38 and just about to start blogging 4 years ago that I finally got off that endless cycle. But my life was beholden to a set of scales, and my weekend would be made or lost on what those scales said. And looking back now, it's awful that I based my entire worth on a set of scales and a label inside my clothes that told me what size I'm wearing. And I've reached a point now where I refuse to do that. And I let go of it. And it's not an easy thing to do, to be comfortable in your own skin and to live a life where you're a visible fat person on the internet. Isn't easy, because people come along and they have opinions and they think you need to hear those opinions when really you don't. And to say that you're fat and happy and to use the F word, fat, is still to some people quite a shocker. I'll say it all the time, I'm fat. And people go, oh, you're not fat. I'm like, well, I am. And I don't have a problem saying that. To me, it's a descriptor. Like saying I'm short or saying I'm blonde. Well, I'm not as blonde as I was. Or that I wear glasses. It's a way of describing me at the end of the day. And I think it's reclaiming that word. If you reclaim the word, then hopefully you lose the negative connotations to that word. Oh, excuse me. I mean, if someone shouted at me in the street, "Oh, you're fat," I'd be like, "Yeah, and your point is, this I know." It's just a word. Well, what really aggravates me is when I say I'm fat and someone goes, "Oh, but you're not fat, you're really pretty." I'm like, I can be both at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. I can be fat and pretty. I can be fat and happy. And I think that's something that society and people around you sometimes have a problem with. I say a problem with, but they struggle with it because we've been so indoctrinated and made to think that the only way we can be happy is by being a certain size or by shrinking ourselves all of the time. So when you come along and you say, well, actually, no, actually, I'm quite happy in my own skin and I'm quite happy with the way that I look, you get these looks of disbelief, like, oh, really? Really? Are you sure? Well, yes, I am sure, thanks. Because I live this life every day and I get up and this body serves me quite well. Gets me out of bed every day, gets me to work. I've had a child. Helps me to do lots of things, and that's how you've got to look at your body rather than... I used to really get cross with my body all the time. And you suddenly reach a point where you think, actually, our bodies are pretty amazing, what they can and what they can do, And I'll be lying if I said every day I got up and I was like, yay, I love myself today, because I'm a human being at the end of the day and we all have our off days. I have days when my hair will seriously not do what I want it to do, when my makeup goes horribly wrong, where the outfit that I've planned in my head that I thought would look so brilliant looks like a bag of spanners, and I get cross. But the good days outnumber the days when I don't feel so good. And the other thing to remember is it's okay to have days when you think, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just not. Because that's what makes you a human being at the end of the day. But when it becomes a problem is when you have this incessant noise about losing weight. It's like if you walk past a rack of magazines at the moment, most of them will probably have the New Year, New You, and exercise plans and diet plans and this and that. And, if people want to lose weight and do all that, that's fine. That's their decision at the end of the day. I'm never going to be here to say, I don't think you should, because it's not my body and it's not my life. I just think that we need to make sure that when you do these things, you're doing them for the right reasons. You're doing it because you want to do it, not because you think you should, because the society is telling you that you should, because you want to. And I think that's the big difference. But it's like today I went out and I walked past Marks and Sparks up at Longbridge, and they've got a huge long window, and it was just filled with exercise wear, including exercise wear for children. And it's like every supermarket you go into, front and centre is exercise wear everywhere. Literally, you can't miss it. And it's like, for God's sake, And just, it's like reaching a point where you're on social media. I'm very lucky that most of the people I follow on social media keep any diet talk that's around to a sort of minimum, or they have separate spaces where they discuss it because they feel that's what they want to do, which is fair enough, Again, I'm not here to tell people what they should and shouldn't do. And a lot of people keep separate spaces because it can be quite triggering for others. People who have suffered with eating disorders in the past can find diet talk and diet culture really difficult to cope with. But with social media, you can streamline what you see. You can, on Facebook, you can stay friends with people, but you can unfollow them. So if they're talking about things that maybe you just don't want to see, just click the unfollow button. If you don't want to unfriend them, then you can go and check on them when you want to, but they're not going to be in your feed and it's not going to be there looking at you. You can mute people on Twitter. There are ways to make it easier for yourself through this difficult month. But yeah, it is hard when it's there, and it's there all the time. And like I said, there's a reason that the diet industry is worth what it is. And what I don't like about it is it trades on and it feeds off insecurities by trying to make us feel that we are not good enough with the way that we look right now. It's like now we get the New Year, New You. Then coming up in the next couple of months, we'll get the whole Beachbody thing. And I always think, you want Beachbody? Take your body to their beach and sit on the beach. There you go. You've got a Beachbody. You're there. And it's that whole thing, isn't it? They feed off insecurities, trying to needle away at you and make you feel like you're not good enough. Now, you are good enough. We're all good enough. We are enough. I'm enough. Everybody else is enough. But they try to make you feel like your life will be so much better, or your life will start, or look at all these wonderful things you can do if you lose weight. Well, you can do all those wonderful things regardless of your size. And, your life isn't going to suddenly change overnight and be completely different. You're still you at the end of the day. The essence that makes you you, which is your brain, your soul, your personality, that stays the same. Weight doesn't change that. I could be a size 8 and I would still be me at the end of the day. I'll just be a smaller version of me, but I would still be me. I'm still me. I'm still Nikki. I'm not going to suddenly become a different person. I might look different, but I'm still me at the end of the day. And this is what I think is really difficult, is when people, and I've been guilty of doing this in the past, thinking, you know what, when I get to that size, I'll do this. And when I weigh this, I'll do that. And when I weigh this, my life will start and I'll feel better. No. And I've been lots of different weights through my life. And the biggest I've ever been right now. And I'm also the most comfortable I've ever been right now, because I've let go of a lot of stuff. And I've had terrible relationships with food in the past and felt guilty about eating things. I don't like this whole bad and good food. Food is food at the end of the day, and food is fuel. We need food to get on with our lives and to live. I don't like attaching feelings to food and being like, oh, I'm having a bad day today. Oh, I'm being good today. Oh, I'm having a treat. I'm having this, I'm having that. You're just having food. You're having food, end of story. And you don't judge other people's food choices. We've seen it on Twitter. I think it was Kirsty Allsop made a comment about what someone was eating for breakfast, and everyone was like, well, what's it got to do with you? And at the end of the day, somebody might eat something that you think, oh, well, it's their body and it's their life. You don't know what else they might have eaten that day or what else they might go on to eat. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because it's none of our business. But yeah, I don't like assigning these feelings to food. Food is food, and I think this is where disordered eating can come in, where things can go wrong. I like food, I'm not going to lie, I do like food. But what I choose to eat is down to me, and I'm an adult at the end of the day. I can make my own decisions. But January, it is a difficult one when you've got all of that going on. But I think what you have to remember is that it's society that's dictating all of this. Just remember all those magazines that you see, all those adverts that you hear, all those things. They're a business at the end of the day. They don't actually care about us. They are a business. They are there to make money, and their way of making money is by using the diet culture and feeding off how we feel about things. So always bear that in mind. But the bottom line is, if you want to go on a diet, or you want to do this, or you want to do that, do it. I'm not here to ever say that you shouldn't, because it's not my life and it's not my body. Just need to remember why we do things, what's going on. But with January, well, it's the 12th of Jan today, so we're getting there. We're inching through January. We're getting there. We're surviving. If you've got to this far, then well done. We're 12 days in. So we're doing well. And each day I think, well, I know we shouldn't wish our lives away, because it's terrible, isn't it? Because I'm terrible for that. I'm always looking to the future, thinking, oh, when's this and when's that? But, it's nearly the weekend. I'm about 2 weeks away from being paid again. And I think through this month, the one thing I would say is be kind to yourself. Be kind to others, but just remember to be kind to yourself. You are enough. You are good enough. And I know it's going to be really hard sometimes to shut out all that diet chatter and stuff. But I think if you can, it just makes this month so much easier to get through. And lighter, brighter days are coming. It'll soon be February, which is a nice short month. And then suddenly it's March, and then it's April, and then it's May, and the signs of spring will soon be here with daffodils and crocuses and snowdrops. And that's what I always think, that these darker days, they don't stay forever, and the light is just round the corner, and we'll soon be out of it, and it will soon be much better. So like I say, be kind to yourself. We're halfway through January, I don't know, we're not quite halfway, we're nearly halfway through January. So be kind to yourself, look after yourselves, and remember, lighter days are soon here. Anyway, as always, you can find me on Twitter gamergirl0621. On Facebook, I have a Facebook page, Natty Nikki. On Instagram at Natty Nikki. And over on my blog at www.nattynikki.com, which I need to do some more updating for. Anyway, like I say, take care of yourselves and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.